The principle of losing weight is easy, but the act of losing weight is hard. On paper, you can say, well, I just need to eat less calories per day and that's it. Weight loss happens. And that's true. It is as simple as that. But the tricky thing is the act of doing it, of being in a calorie deficit, day in, day out, for an extended period of time. You've got to navigate life and everything it throws at you. Cravings, stress at home and at work, tiredness, and a whole host of other things. So if there's a way to make this easier, then that's worth exploring. Now, I don't care for diet hacks or gimmicks that don't make a tangible difference. I care about things that are backed by science and have a genuine, proven benefit. And that's what we're going to talk about in this episode. By the end of it, you'll know how this one simple change to your diet can actually lead to huge results with weight loss. So let's get into it. Hey, and welcome to Vegetarian Health and Longevity, a podcast by Hurry the Food Up, where I cover topics that help vegetarians live longer in better health. I'm your host, James LeBague, and I work as a registered sport and exercise nutritionist and advanced clinical practitioner in family medicine. It's my pleasure to interview expert guests, share my own experiences from working with patients and clients, and demystify some of the nutrition fluff that's out there to give you practical, take-home information that you can use to live a healthier life. In a world that's full of diet hacks, superfoods, and unhealthy protocols which people can't safely sustain, it's hard to know what really works. The fortunate or unfortunate truth is that the things which really help aren't particularly sexy or exciting. Instead, they're something that seems so simple, so basic, that it can't really make that big of a difference. But that's exactly what they do. And the power comes from a compounding effect where when you do this day in, day out for months, years, and, well, your life, it creates this massive change. One of the problems that I frequently see when I review a client's food diary is that they usually do well with one of their meals a day. By that, I mean they'll put effort into their dinner or maybe their lunch, but then the other meals aren't anywhere near as good in terms of overall dietary quality and their protein intake. And this is a big problem, especially if they're trying to lose weight. When you're trying to lose weight, there's no denying that calories are important. In simple terms, you have to consume less calories than your body is burning. So while this is simple enough, actually putting this into practice is more difficult, and people often struggle with cravings and not feeling like they've eaten enough. So I'd like to introduce the main change I would love for you to try in the coming weeks or months and see what a difference it makes to you and your diet. That change is evenly spacing your protein intake throughout the day. It's so common for people to eat a good amount of protein in their dinner, and only at dinner, and this also goes for meat eaters too. But this has some pretty big downsides, and I'd love to show you how making a change could help you out. If I were to say to you that you could eat more food but consume less calories and feel more satisfied, would you take it? It kind of feels like a trick question really, doesn't it? Because of course the answer is yes. But this is actually a genuine possibility if you consume protein regularly in good amounts throughout the day. When you eat protein, you stimulate the hormones which are involved in the satiety process, chiefly hormones called cholecystokinin and peptide YY. These hormones are released when food such as protein gets eaten, and they have been shown in studies to reduce hunger. Higher protein foods will trigger this mechanism to a greater extent than lower protein foods, meaning higher protein foods are going to make you feel less hungry after eating them, reducing the risk of cravings and/or overeating. If you've ever tried losing weight before, then you'll know how strong these feelings can be. So reducing them is clearly going to be an incredibly beneficial outcome. The other amazing thing about protein is to do with something called the thermic effect of food. And when you understand it, it can be super powerful and even change the way you think about food. When you eat food, your body has to spend energy digesting it, and different foods require different amounts of energy to break them down. Protein has the highest thermic effect of food, and fat has the lowest, which means that in order to break protein down, you have to spend more energy doing so compared to carbohydrate or fat. Now that might sound kinda cool, but the real benefit of this comes into play when you start considering how much food you can eat in a day when you take into account the thermic effect of food. The thermic effect of protein is around 25 to 30%, with fat as low as 3%. This means that if, for example, you ate 100 calories worth of protein, your net calorie consumption would be around 75 calories after taking into account that 25% requirement to break the protein down into usable energy. If you eat 100 calories worth of fat, your net calorie consumption will be about 97 calories. As a practical outcome for you, this means one of two things. 1. You aim for your target calories, for example 1500 calories, and your net calories that you consume is lower due to a higher thermic effect of food. 2. You aim above your target calories by eating more high-protein foods and consume almost bang on your net target calories after taking into account the thermic effect of food. So to give an example here, let's say two people, and we'll call one Alex and the other Jamie. Alex follows a high-protein, balanced vegetarian diet. Jamie doesn't think much about their diet and often ends up eating fatty foods like cheese and opts for full-fat dairy. An average day of eating for Alex looks like this. Breakfast: a smoothie made from low-fat Greek yogurt, milk and fruit. Lunch: a quinoa and chickpea salad. Dinner: a tofu stir-fry. For Jamie, it looks like this. Breakfast: avocado on toast. Lunch: cheese, pickle and vegetable sandwich. Dinner: creamy pasta with vegetables. Both of their calorie intake is around 1500 calories, but after taking into account Alex's higher protein diet and Jamie's lower protein but higher fat diet, you would find that their net calorie intake difference is between 100 to 150 calories per day. Now, I'll be straight up and say that in the grand scheme of things, this might not seem huge, and it isn't. But this would actually mean that Alex could have an extra snack which could be something like low-fat Greek yogurt and berries, and still be in the right range for weight loss. And this is then suddenly much more appealing. And when you combine that with the knowledge that by default, protein will make you feel more satisfied and full, if you eat more protein regularly throughout the day, not only do you just get to eat more food, but it will help reduce cravings and mean you stick to your calorie plan better. This is why I am so bullish about protein, and why at Hurry the Food Up we've worked so hard on our recipes and meal plans. We've leveraged the benefits of high protein meals to create weight loss plans with recipes that fill you up but are also easy to cook and taste amazing. Honestly, I'm super proud of them, and if you'd like to try them out, then you can download a full week's meal plan for free over at hurrythefoodup.com/try. That's TRY. It contains a recipe list with ingredients and step-by-step instructions, as well as a shopping list for you to take out all of the fuss. So head over to hurrythefoodup.com/try to get started. So by eating more protein in a day and then spacing it at every meal, you'll benefit from those two biggies, the thermic effect of food and the satiety mechanism. But it also comes into its own when it comes to building muscle too. When I talk about building muscle here, I mean strong, healthy, functional muscle, the muscle that you use to lift stuff in your house, walk up the stairs, basically just being fit and healthy. A study called Evenness of Dietary Protein Intake is positively associated with lean mass and strength in healthy women, demonstrated that spreading protein intake throughout the day maximizes the anabolic response to protein, benefiting muscle mass and performance. Essentially, by having protein at more regular intervals throughout the day, women had better responses to the exercise that they did and had more muscle than those who didn't space protein throughout the day. You might know this already, but strength or resistance training is a huge part of being healthy and living longer in better health. And if you haven't already listened to it, then check out episode 3, How Resistance Training Can Help You Live for Longer in Better Health, for a deeper dive into it. So not only will spreading protein intake throughout the day mean you can eat more calories and feel fuller, it also helps you to build or maintain muscle. And by doing that, you'll actually burn more calories because muscle uses more energy than fat, which will just further improve the virtuous cycle. Plus, I can pretty much guarantee that by doing all of this, you will feel like you have more energy and are more motivated. I've seen this with my one-on-one clients, and actually, Amy Roskelley from HealthBeat, who was featured as a guest on this podcast a couple of weeks ago, said it too. She mentioned how, although she didn't want to sound cliche, having more muscle and losing weight literally changed her life. So I honestly love this topic because when you zoom out a bit, you can really see how having a healthy, high-protein diet can benefit so many different facets of your life. However, it's fair to say that it's not all about protein. Yes, I love it and it's super important, But that's not the only part of your diet, and it's not the only thing to focus on. You should still be consuming lots of whole grain carbohydrates, fruits and vegetables, and yep, some healthy fats mixed in there too. All of these are necessary in a balanced diet because they provide other nutrients like vitamins, minerals, and fiber. So I hope you found this episode interesting and that it gave you some helpful info about why regularly eating protein is beneficial for you. If you did find it useful, then please give the podcast a quick review on whatever platform you're listening on. It helps the podcast to spread to more like-minded people like you, and it'll only take a moment. Thanks so much, and we'll speak soon.